Hey, this is Chesky. You're listening to Milkcrates Microphones.
Hell yeah.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
You are now listening to the sounds of
Hip hop icon out here, Chesky.
Yo.
Yo.
Hey, can you hear us? We all good?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
Hell
we
yeah.
hear you good too, bro. Perfectly coming through the ears. Good to hear you, man. How you doing tonight?
Doing all right. Packing up. I'm about to go to Colorado tomorrow, so getting ready for a bunch of shows and stuff. So
Hell yeah. How long are you gonna be gone for?
shit. I mean, I'm gonna be on the road for about a month. I'm going to Colorado for 3 appearances and then 3 shows, and then flying to LA for some recording sessions I'm doing. Then I'm going to Minneapolis for a show. Then I'm going to Saskatoon, Canada, to record with Factor for the first time in 2 years.
When you leave for a month, do you bring the whole motherfucking closet?
I can't because I gotta bring merch, so I gotta
True that.
Yeah, true that.
You gotta pack extra additional items aside from your own personal items.
That's rough.
You know.
Yeah, it's heavy as fuck right
You gotta
now.
think about business.
God, yeah.
I need to
Just wear your merch shirts. Call it a day, brother.
yeah. Hey, I wouldn't be wearing this flossy vacation shirt.
Hey,
There
fuck
you
it, that's
go.
dope. You look like you're ready to go on vacation.
All
Hey,
right.
let's give this man a proper introduction.
Give him a proper
please.
interview.
So,
or intro.
so who we're talking to right now, wearing an awesome vacation shirt and joining us, being very gracious with his time. He is a hip hop artist. He is also an entrepreneur and somebody that's got a lot of fires burning in the hip hop game. He is from the East Coast. It is Chesky. Chesky, thank you for joining Milkcrates and Microphones.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for coming out. And like we were just talking about, you're going on tour right now. How's it feel to be back out and doing shows and being able to be around the people? Is it sketchy, or are you feeling happy to be back out and just
Do you
just being
feel
out
like
there?
you need to put a mask on? Is the real question when you're around all these crazy people.
I'm gonna bring one just to kind of be a little cautious indoors. I think I feel real comfortable outdoors. So my last 9 shows were outdoors. So
Nice.
Inside, no escaping the sneeze, man.
yeah, man, I gotta be somewhat cautious. So I have mask on deck,
Yeah, that's
Supposedly-
smart.
merch booth and stuff.
Supposedly it's going away. It's coming back again. They're saying they're gonna have to make you wear masks indoors again. So who the fuck knows what's going on, man? It's
Yeah,
fucked up out
that's
there.
kind of what I'm gathering.
Yeah,
So I feel real comfortable outside. I'll do anything.
for sure.
I'll do anything outside.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
But
I'm sure you're
yeah,
enjoying having the fans back though, and being able to.
Yeah,
be
no, it
back
feels
there and
really good.
everything.
Hey, man, on
It
that,
feels really good.
on that note, let's talk about, were they front yard shows you were doing, or what exactly was going on with those type of shows?
They were all types of yards and
Okay.
outdoor spaces. So we did front yards, we did backyards, we did the middle of the woods. No houses in sight in some places. We did a farm. We did a hostel in the White Mountains.
Oh wow.
And it was just like a bunch of interesting outdoor spaces. And it was because we booked those shows at a time when COVID was still
A thing, a big rampant.
it was still going strong. Things were opening up. We saw things were kind of opening up, but we were like, regardless, we'll just do this tour of outdoor spaces and it'll be safe.
At all
can do
those
it safely.
shows you did outside, do you feel like, they were pretty to their full potential still, or do you feel like this COVID shit really hurt it? I mean, do you feel like it got-
we purposely kept them small.
That's
So,
cool.
it wasn't like the amount of people that would have normally showed up to a club show.
That's cool.
But it was very much on purpose. And it was good. It was really good practice for me.
It's
I
awesome.
thought it's good to connect with people. And in those spaces, it was like daylight shows, which I'm not used to
Yeah.
here.
That's
So
gotta be kind of different.
it was a challenge. It was kind of a challenge. There was times when I remember my friend Pat the Bunny. He booked one of the shows in the woods of Vermont, and he was like, "That would have been real awkward for me." I'm glad I didn't have to do it.
Yeah, thanks for booking
But
it.
Yeah, he's like, that'll be the last show I booked too.
Yeah.
So he's-
So how?
No, but it actually went pretty well. It was fun.
It was just in the woods, like straight up in the, like a stage, or how was it?
No stage. We did it. We were surrounded by trees. There was like a little patch of grass, pretty deep in the woods in Vermont, and we had a little Behringer amp that was run off batteries,
Oh wow.
and so and that thing lasted the entire 9 shows
On
without
one battery.
charging.
Shit.
Wow, that's amazing.
And loud
Yeah.
as fuck, huh?
You know, you'd be surprised what loud means when you're in a space like that.
Yeah.
True
You don't
that.
got to be
Truthfully,
loud as
true.
fuck
Truthfully.
when you're in the middle of nowhere.
No, the
When
sound.
you're competing against just like bugs.
Yeah, the sound carries, especially out there.
Oh yeah, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And people were there to listen. You know, it was probably only 25, 30 people.
For sure.
And
Legit
we,
fans. That's awesome.
Hey, I also want to
Yeah.
say happy belated 40th birthday there.
thank you.
You know,
Thanks a lot.
that's a
That's a milestone
That's
nowadays.
definitely a
lot of people
milestone
don't-
year to
A lot
hit.
of people don't make it there.
no.
You look good for 40, brother.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd give you 33,
Thank you.
34. So 40 looks
Thank
good on
you.
you, man. There you go, brother.
I'll accept that.
There you go.
Yeah, all of it is feels like lucky time, like borrowed time or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, and I know you're talking about
I've lost so many friends in the last few years. It's just like
sad.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
so sad. Yeah. And as you get older, that's
last
one of those
few
things.
weeks. In the last few weeks. So yeah.
That's
Sorry to hear that.
horrible. Yeah. As you get
Yeah.
older, that's one of those things that continues. You know, as you continue to live, people continue to pass, and it's tough times. But you doing those shows was a good way to hone your skills. You do have a label, Fake 4 Inc. You do Friday night shows where you get some of your artists to be able to do kind of a virtual show. Is that something that you got going on?
Fake-
Yeah,
fake
every
quarantine.
Friday night during pandemic, we started it with a festival on 4/4. So that's kind of on 4/4, April 4th. We were in the heat of, pandemic had just hit, and we did a festival with like 14 acts or something like that. And it was like an all-day thing, and everyone's at home at that time, and it went really well. So that was our first venture into Twitch. And then starting in May, I think the first Friday of May of 2020, we started doing every Friday. We'd book 4 acts on our Twitch and do virtual shows.
Wow.
And it was initially an idea of my friend Nikki Anarchy who set it up, and she was kind of like writing for Twitch. I didn't really know much about Twitch other than it was for video games, and I have some friends who are professional gamers, so I knew about that, but I didn't know how the reaction would be, and the reaction to the festival was so good that it sold me. So I started just booking all types of acts, all types of genres, a bunch of artists that I had met on my travels around the world, and so it was a cool way to give people an outlet.
Give them a
and,
platform.
The only time I've ever seen anybody do a show on Twitch was when Puya did a show on Twitch. I think it was with Rolling Loud and all them last year, right? I think that's what it was. They had like all kinds of people there, from him to Smoke Perp to
Puya, the rapper or the band?
Puya the rapper. He was there.
Okay.
He was there on it.
You know, Puya's like a metalcore band from Puerto Rico, right?
No, I
didn't
don't. I
know
don't
that.
know that. The only
Yeah.
Puya I know is here from Florida, and he rapped with
Yeah.
with Suicide Boys and all them. So that's
Yeah,
that's
I
the
know
only
who
one
he is.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's got an O in it. He's got an O in his name, and the band is just Puya.
okay.
More like
okay.
it sounds.
Yeah, that's what that.
They're
sounds like it'd
dope.
be more
They're
like
dope.
Puya.
They're from the island, and my cousin from the island is friends with them, and
It's,
my
it's-
cousin from here is also friends with them. So
You said it's rock.
it's like metal. It's like
Metalcore.
I'm gonna have to check that shit out. We're gonna have to play some tonight, definitely.
yeah,
before
they
this
were
shit's
cool
over.
because they were doing in the '90s. They were doing like kind of like metalcore, hardcore metal, mixed with Puerto Rican sounds. So they would break into crazy like tropical shit.
Merengas and tropical ass fucking sounds like that. Huh? I feel it. We're gonna check it
dope.
out.
Yeah,
we're
like
gonna check it
Latin
out.
jazz moments, and then
Yes,
just be like,
Like hardcore.
That's pretty
shit.
wicked.
I love that. I loved it. I don't know how it's aged. Honestly haven't gone back to it much, but they're back and playing shows again because my cousin just opened some shows for them. So
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
wow.
look forward to actually They played all over Florida,
That's a
and the shows were like sold out and shit. So there's fans out there for them too.
That's a CESCHI recommendation right there for everyone listening. Go
Listen
check out
to
Puya the
original
band.
Puya the
Yeah.
band. Yeah.
Hey man,
The original Puya.
like
Yes,
I
sir.
caught your set on Twitch on Friday, and that shit was super dope, man. I feel like you always put on a good show. I've seen you live a handful of times
Thank
over
you.
here on the West Coast, man. Whenever you come around, I feel like you put a lot of emotion into your fucking music and shit, which I really dig about you. And you have a super blended style, man. Like fucking
Punk
folk,
rock, hip
punk
hop.
rock,
Yeah, that's crazy.
hip hop. Like, what were your influences growing up, man? How did you go about like blending all these styles? What did you find first? You know, like, what did you find growing up?
What did I find first? I mean, I grew up on my father's from Puerto Rico, my mother's Italian, from here, and they from born in the States, first generation. They showed me all types of, but she lived in Puerto Rico and she lived all over Latin America too.
Okay.
So they showed me like the first stuff I ever fell in love with was like Caribbean folk music and salsa and stuff like that.
Oh wow. That's dope.
And the Beatles and just whatever they showed me as a kid. And that went as far as Tracy Chapman and Talking Heads and 80s stuff
Dope.
that they showed me as well. By the time I was about 5, I heard rap for the first time, and it was the Fat Boys.
Sick.
And
Yeah, the old school.
I liked it immediately. And being a fat boy myself, I related to them. I'm straight up. And you know, Marky D was Puerto Rican, and he was fat, and he was a rapper. So I related to him on multiple levels.
That's dope.
And
I
started
like
rapping
your
when I
line.
was about 7 or 8,
I'm a
just
fat
fucking around.
Italian Puerto Rican Tupac. that line's fucking dope. That's dope.
Yes.
Dope fucking line right there.
Yes.
Sorry to
Yeah,
cut you
so-
off, but I had to interject.
So yeah, like
Hard.
I was about 7 or 8, I started fucking around with rap.
That's legit.
And then about when I was about probably 10, I got into more like grunge and metal and punk.
Were you
stuff
making
like
music?
that.
Were you making grunge and metal, or just like listening and enjoying?
Just listening and kind of fucking around on guitar.
Okay.
I didn't really start playing guitar till I was a couple years older.
Okay.
So I would say around 13, I started really playing guitar. So, but yeah, I was rapping earlier because that was what in my neighborhood we listened to, you know,
Yeah.
listen to like MC Hammer, where I was growing up in the Bay Area. So
Okay.
I lived on the border of Oakland and Berkeley. So, and if you know the Bay Area at all,
I was living in Hayward when I was younger, growing up. I also went out to college in Hayward. I went back and forth kind of throughout my years.
Show him the Hayward tattoo. Show him the
I don't have any
Hayward tat on the
but,
chest.
but that's right by Oakland right there, and you know, in the East Bay.
I know somebody that lives in Hayward.
Okay,
That's cool.
okay.
Would you say that?
yeah.
Would you say that making the more of a punk scene, would you say it would be easier or harder than doing the hip hop scene? What came naturaler to write, at least?
Well, I definitely started dropping hip hop. Like, excuse me, I got something in my throat.
You're good.
Okay.
Need some water or some shit.
Get a drink. Get a
Get this
drink.
man a water.
Yeah.
Somebody get this man a water.
Please take your time.
Go ahead and get a drink.
Yeah, do whatever you got to do, brother.
I'm all right. I think I'm all right now. I was gonna say, I think I started kind of letting go of hip hop when I was about, I don't know, I got way more into rock. I got way more into punk and grunge and all that shit that was popping off.
Yeah.
When I was about 10, 11. No, at that age I still rapped, but I was still messing around with rap but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really into popular rap that much at a certain style. I don't know. At a certain time when G-Funk got really big, like the Chronic came out and stuff, I started like getting out of rap.
Okay.
And it wasn't until a couple years later when I heard some of the shit out the East Coast that I loved. Wu-Tang, Boot Camp Click, stuff like that I got back into it through friends of mine from when I started going to high school. And so during that time, I had already been deeply into researching, I don't know, going to punk shows already and stuff like that. So I think I'd already been to the Gilman Street by that age. So
wow.
and the Gilman Street was a famous punk club in Berkeley. And then when I moved to the East Coast, I started going to all ages punk clubs here.
Oh wow, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was just like a spot we'd go and like smoke cigarettes and fucking watch any band that came through. And fucking any genre.
Yeah.
So at the time, it could be indie rock from the West Coast. I remember seeing bands from Sub Pop or whatever, to ska, to hardcore, which I really, really got into, like from the East Coast, New York mostly, or Connecticut, Massachusetts. And I got really into that scene. So it was all just kind of natural to do it all. And the truth is that hip hop had been a huge influence on that scene, on the hardcore scene of the East Coast.
Yeah.
So it was really natural, like to. I was a graffiti writer, so I think a lot of the kids in the hardcore scene were graffiti writers also. Like we all kind of had our tags and our styles, our hand styles and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was just natural to like it all.
Yeah,
it was just like big. Even how everyone dressed, everyone kind of looked hip hop, even if they like really heavy fucking music.
Yeah. And it was all kind of like you were saying, it all kind of meshed together. It kind of all was like rebellious and, it's us against the world type of music. And so, especially
and it
the
was like a
underground
big,
scene.
and it was political.
Yeah, political.
Like,
Like
the flex back
hyper
then.
animal liberation and a lot of that kind of world too. Like lots of like vegan and Krishna hardcore bands that were like, you go to a show and it'll be a table of just pamphlets and shit. Like, we're gonna save the monkeys from the lab this week.
Jesus, save the bees.
Shit like that. It was all kind of that. All that influenced me a lot, though. It was just like that was my social scene. So
Yeah.
it was that. It was a mixture of that, and then kind of like school, and then kids I just knew straight from like the streets or like friends of mine that like from neighborhoods or whatever that I used to kick it with.
When did you cross paths with Sage Francis? I know you guys are both from the West Coast, both from like smaller states. I would say on the West Coast.
Both got a resemblance.
East Coast, yeah. He's
resemblance.
He's from Rhode Island.
funny. So I did cross paths with him in 1996.
Wow.
At I saw one of his first concerts ever, and it was he was playing with a hardcore band from Connecticut in New Haven, and they were opening for a group called Vision of Disorder.
Wow.
Who was a great band. They were killing it at the time. They were stars to us, like you probably don't know who they are, but at the time, Vision of Disorder was like a big deal to me. Nice. And so Sage, the first act comes on, and I always forget the name of the band he was playing with, but he just does like 2 songs, rapping with them, 2 or 3 songs, and then I go and I liked it. And it was like straight edge rap, and I wasn't even straight edge at the time yet.
Yeah,
I did become straight edge, but but he sold me his tape, which was called Homegrown, and it was all like straight edge with the X's, like SE, and then he had like this graffiti, graffiti style, like drawing poster in a color print, which at the time was not that normal to see. And I bought the tape and I bought the print, and I really liked it. I listened to it a shitload.
So dope. and super old school too. I mean, that's
I can still probably like recite some of those lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, that guy.
And many years later, so that was on the East Coast. That was in Connecticut, but my father was still living in Oakland at the time, in Berkeley. Okay. So I would spend all my summers in Berkeley and Oakland. And one of those summers I spent I was already just out of high school maybe. 18 years old or so, I met Anticon
Dope.
and started doing some songs with Soul and Dose.
Yeah.
And so this was like 99, 2000. It was like 2000, I think. And I remember Soul telling me about Sage. And I remember seeing Sage. I was like, is it the same motherfucker that I used to see at the hardcore shows? He's like, yeah, we're putting out one of his records. I was like, what? That shit like blew my mind. This
Yeah.
world's colliding.
Yeah.
Especially from
I
West
didn't,
Coast
I
to
didn't
East Coast.
meet him until years after, but like really meet him. I think we had maybe chatted on AOL Instant Messenger or something like that. But yeah, our worlds were colliding, and eventually we just started. I forgot where we saw each other in person for the first time as adults or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But we became friends, and I think it must have been through Soul. And yeah, we became friends, did some music together, did a bunch of shows together.
You guys need to
That's
put out a
crazy.
whole album together.
Yeah,
I mean,
fucking.
Yeah, it'd be hard to get him to do that. He's a very he's
been in the game
he's
for
a
a long
busy
time,
man.
for sure.
I
And-
just
and
seen
father
him. I
now,
just
too.
seen him not too long
not
ago.
just busy.
Amazing.
He's just not that
And-
into music right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and
I hope he has another wave where he
totally.
starts
sure.
feeling it again. But he's way more on the family tip right now.
For sure,
that's awesome. But you just
That is.
telling that story right now just made me think, man. If you ever looked back and just thought, this is fucking, my journey has been crazy, because you're talking about East Coast to West Coast and meeting this person over
Yeah.
on the East Coast and re-meeting him on the West Coast, and then. Have you ever thought about like writing a book or something like that? Or have you ever kept a journal of your travels, or just thought about
personal-
writing down your memories?
personal memoir or whatnot.
Personal journals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of writing during pandemic. I started writing some long form memoir type chapters, I would say, but it wasn't. It hadn't gotten really to my adulthood. It was a lot of like, I don't know, maybe eventually.
Yeah, because that's
I just did an interview with somebody about Anticon though, and that was like 2 hours on the phone talking about those years.
Dope.
And
because that's a
maybe-
pivotal part. That's a pivotal point in like underground independent hip hop music, is that the formation of Anticon and all those dudes, and then
Mm-hmm.
the way that they made music with Sage from the East Coast and
Slug.
with Slug from fucking the Northwest.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that whole story right there is a pivotal part in the history of underground hip hop, or whatever that music is.
At least
you know
what
I mean?
hip hop is to us. At
Yeah,
least.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
so I think it's also kind of an overlooked part of the history. I mean, it's important to us, but
Mm-hmm.
as far as history books for hip hop, it's not really
No one's gonna.
known that much. I mean, even stuff that from the West Coast that I really look up to, stuff like the living legends, I feel have been really overlooked as far as part of that DIY hip hop history, as another wave after
Hyro and
Project Blowed.
yeah.
Project Blowed, Hyro.
Yep.
Grouch and all them.
So-
Living Legends. You playing with Grouch?
Yeah.
Come on, you got good stuff, man. Some of the best ever, right there. Yeah, like
Yeah, I feel like as far as like in hip hop history, that shit has been pretty overlooked. To me, it was really important
No More
when I
Greener
first
Grass
got my
is
Three
amazing.
Melancholy Gypsies tapes.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
3MG shit.
You
was
know,
hard.
Yeah, I love 3MG for sure. Like the older shit,
I-
like log cabin shit.
That's the good shit.
That
Yeah,
stuff
Log
is
Cabin.
super dope.
Yeah, when I heard Sun Sprayed for the
Yeah,
first
oh, yes.
time, it blew my mind.
and
know?
that's
So-
sampled off of what, Nirvana, right? Like that beat.
Yeah.
So you probably enjoyed that one, I'm sure.
Sick.
Which is
yeah,
a super
exactly.
dope
Because I was
beat.
like, oh, these kids are fucking with rock shit, but they spit
Hell yeah.
so hard, and it was inspiring because I liked the same shit. So
Yeah.
for me, it was I felt like they were doing it on the West Coast, stuff that I was kind of doing on my own out here.
You like a lot of rap over rock? Would you say? Is that like you still kind of you like that? Like, have you seen anything lately that really inspires you from rock over rap type of like beats or type of music? Because I just seen the other day that Young Thug was with who was he with? I think he was with Travis Barker on all them, and
Oh,
he
yeah,
rapped
okay.
over their rock beats. What did you think of that? I wasn't a
I
fan.
haven't heard it.
But
I
a
haven't
lot-
heard that yet, so I don't have an opinion on it. But
Yeah.
yeah, there was a time when I really liked that, and then I think it got kind of played out, overproduced, and a lot of the energy. I used to love groups like Downset, and like they were like hardcore band, like legitimate hardcore bands who were down with like CBS Crew, Graffiti,
Yeah.
yet could spit legitimately
A
as
lot
well.
of hip hop elements.
You know, that's the kind of like stuff that was influencing me when I was 16, 15, you know what I mean? And so as far as like rock and, you know, and of course Rage, when Rage came out, those first two albums were really important to
yeah,
me.
yeah, they're for sure.
I remember being 7th,
Game
8th grade and
changers.
buying that motherfucker, dude.
Game
Just like-
changers.
Put
Yeah.
themselves on the
Great.
map as blending styles,
for sure.
you know, like in a big way.
Yeah, and Zach could actually spit. And when,
For sure.
you know, Lyricist Lounge came out and he did that song with KRS-One and Last Emperor,
Yep,
for instance.
I love that.
That was like a pride moment for me to see him spitting and holding his own with these. And you know, KRS-One was one of my favorite
Lyricist Lounge
rappers
was
growing
what,
up. So.
MTV or BET?
I think MTV.
It was
back-
MTV, right? Lyricist Lounge? Yeah, it was MTV.
So seeing
Oh, the show. Yeah, I'm talking about the first compilation that came
Ah.
out, and it was like '97, I think.
Yeah.
It was like a big double CD compilation
Did you have it?
on Raucous Records, and it was really dope. I mean, Jurassic 5 was on there, Mos Def was all over that, and yeah, it was good. It was a important moment for me. And as far as those sounds, I do like I always did like. It's funny because I feel like I make a lot of pretty sounding stuff, but I did like noisy production as far as with like I loved some of the stuff Company Flow was doing their LP back in the
Company Flow was
day.
sick.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of sound of noisy, kind of abrasive production was always dope to me too. It kind of reminded me of the abrasive sound of punk, you know.
yeah.
Totally.
Company Flow is sick.
So
For sure.
and we were talking a little bit about artists getting overlooked and some of the artists in the underground scene. Was that kind of inspiration or maybe pushed you towards starting your own label or your own company, which is Fake 4 Inc.?
Yeah. I think we started in 2008, which was a time when a lot of labels were closing, and I was kind of watching a lot of my heroes not have an outlet to release their own shit. So watching, like, you know, being a place where I could release records by Micah 9 from the Freestyle Fellowship and AWOL 1 from the Shapeshifters and Soul, and
Yeah.
you know, like I was proud to be able to be a outlet for them, to continue making music, and that list goes on and on and
Oh,
on.
yeah,
and
dude. You
we're,
put
we're
a
still
lot
a
of people-
thing, you know,
Bus Driver.
13 years later.
Keep some of
Bus
the legacy
Driver,
alive.
yeah.
Is
Dark
awesome.
Time.
These are people that
Gray
I,
Skull.
you know, in many ways raised me. You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like I was sleeping on floors next to Bus Driver, you know, at Tumex and Chololancinco's house when I was
So dope.
in my early 20s. You know, I remember turning 21 with all those dudes, and you know, so yeah, I mean, that they raised me in a lot of ways. So when I had an opportunity to kind of give back in a way, and I had distribution deals and I could press vinyl and sometimes have an advance or whatever it was, you know, it was just kind of my gift back to my mentors.
And you
So
have
that was kind of the beginning of that.
you have
And it was also out of necessity. I needed a place to put my own shit out.
totally. And I like the compilation shit that you do, the features with all the artists that you have on your label, and vice versa. You know, you have a lot of collaborative, great artistic work out there. But also, you have a very vast band camp too, right? Like, now
Yeah, I feel like
does
we're
that work
probably
exactly?
yeah, we're in the hundreds of releases at this point. So
Do you have any
I
names?
think our official releases, that's like not the free summer releases, even though those are also, I consider them official too. But yeah, we have like 100 official releases. So on, a lot of it on vinyl, or physical, and then we have a lot of just straight to Bandcamp releases as well. So yeah, we're in the hundreds for releases.
Yeah, a lot of artists. I've discovered a lot of people just through the Fake for like Bandcamp and stuff like that. People I enjoy listening to. Do you have any recommendations yourself, like up and coming artists and people that we should check out,
No, we must hear.
or others? Should
Yeah, I would check out some two young artists that I'm writing for right now. Chris Condi
Okay.
released a really dope record. I would recommend. Ursat Splinter is who I'm playing these shows with in Colorado.
Yeah, I saw
he's
that.
He's from Fresno area.
Fresno area. Yeah, we were lucky enough to be to create a friendship with Oscar Goldman, and he's been on the show.
Oh, Oscar's great.
Yeah,
Oscar's another.
He's
Or
been on the
E-Turn
show
as
and-
well. If you haven't heard E-Turn, she's an incredible
Yeah.
spitter, and we're focused on hip hop. Those are some I would recommend who are up and coming, and
Yeah, Oscar had a lot of good things to say about Aerostats. And after listening to him, it's easy to see why he's really, really talented young
yeah,
artist.
he's.
dude.
I've known Martin since he was in high school,
Yeah.
so it's cool to watch him just progress and keep doing cool stuff.
And you're shooting out to Colorado on Saturday or Friday or what's your
The first show is Friday, so
Okay,
yeah, I'm
okay.
actually heading out there tomorrow.
nice,
So-
nice hitting the road? And then you have a tour coming up with Dark Time Sunshine. I see that.
Yep.
A little disappointing you guys aren't coming around our way over here, but next time around, hopefully.
Make it out to
The
Cali.
reason is because where are you located exactly?
Well, we're in like nearby Sacramento, Stockton.
Yeah, Northern
area.
Cali.
Northern
Stockton,
Cali.
Oh, okay, cool. The reason is because Dark Time is doing dates with Homeboy Sandman on the
Okay.
West Coast, so we didn't want to. We all have the same booking agent. We didn't want that to
Yeah,
clash.
yeah, for sure.
So we're all homies and just want to like the same spots that Sandman was hitting.
Yeah, man. Longtime
So-
fan of Gray Skull and Henri Osborne also, man. Like that's a super dope tour fucking setup right there.
Yeah, that's another group I'm deeply proud of, just because I was there since the inception of Dark Time Sunshine. Pretty much, I was there pretty much since the beginning of that group's start. They started. Henri presented it to me, and we kind of went through this whole development process of releasing first an EP called "Believe You Me," and then
Yep, I have that on
this record called
on that
Vessel.
download.
And it was just a whole. I felt like we all kind of grew together. We grew that project together in many ways. I feel like a big part of that project,
Yeah, most definitely.
that group. Almost like I feel like if there's any like third member of that group, it would probably be me. But I
Yeah.
just I love them, and
I agree too.
And,
Have they been on your label consistently the longest out of all the artists that have signed with Fake 4?
yeah,
It seems
yeah.
like it, at least
Factor is the other,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
other actually. So Factor's like my family as
Yeah.
well. So, and Factor has produced a bunch of records on the label, and is a staple of the label as well. I would consider Factor and Zavala to be two of the staple producers of the label.
Yeah, and he produced your most recent album, Sad Fat Luck, correct? Was that
Yeah.
okay? And do you have any new shit coming out in the near future here? That was 2019.
Where do you
I know
find where
that
do you
came
find time to get in the studio and make music? You got it's like you got so
Yeah,
much
it's,
going on. Where do you
yeah,
find the
definitely
time
a
to make
busy man.
music? Because you are making music. We're seeing the production still.
Yeah, I have a ton of music that's kind of unfinished right now. So, and this sounds stupid, but I'm also starting a new band right now. So
No,
it's
that's tight.
it's
It sounds on par.
yeah. I'm actually going to Factor's house
Sick.
after my show with Moody Black
Nice.
in August 7th. I'm playing with Moody Black, who's another great group on the label.
Yeah.
Noise rap kind of stuff.
So when you do
I'm
get
going
a
up
chance,
to work with Factor after that show in Minneapolis.
so when you do get a chance to get in the studio, like you're gonna to see Factor, do you just try to knock out as much as you can, or are you still more focused like on releasing quality? Obviously, it takes time to make something quality.
Yeah, I mean, I have four more albums worth of material right
already.
now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of shit.
But
So
it's
there's
not.
no rush
I don't
on
see.
anything.
I don't think almost any of it's ready. So I think I gotta figure out what the public is gonna see and hear, and what that means. So
Is it too advanced?
it's a hard thing, but a Factor helps me kind of focus myself, and
Do you
there's a
feel
bunch
like
of stuff that we need to finish in person because
Oh, okay, there you go.
we've been struggling to kind of wrap up a couple things that we've been sitting on. So I think in person we're gonna finally figure some of this shit out. So.
I do like the fact that even though it's easy to make music remotely and send music nowadays, it's still something about getting together with a producer, or producer getting together with his MC and making music in house.
You get that feel, that vibe.
Energy.
Yeah, the
you
energy,
can't
the
change
vibe.
it.
You can't change that for sure.
Yeah, I'm fucking terrible at it. I really can't. I'm not great at. I kind of there came a time when I was kind of like, I don't do collabs unless I'm in person, just because I'm really slow at getting them done. I'm not the best at doing stuff remotely. I guess we could be like zooming and like, but when it comes to sonics and like, I don't know, sonic elements, a lot of stuff gets lost in that. It gets lost in the digital translation, and I would say, yeah, especially when we're coming down to like nitty gritty mixing stuff, it's really hard to do because we get pretty picky about shit, and some of the stuff is a little complicated to just be like, I don't know. I gotta be there like with him, like looking at wave files with him, and be like, no, this goes out, this goes in, this goes out. We gotta keep, So yeah, that's kind of what we're hoping to.
It's a very delicate process, especially when you're putting out your art and you're putting your heart into it.
Totally.
You don't want, you're
You
putting
want
yourself
bullshit
out there.
Yeah,
You're putting yourself out there.
Only the best you want out there from yourself, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's I'm hoping that we're gonna wrap that last record, because it's a trilogy, and so I'm hoping to wrap up that last part of the trilogy soon this year, and it'll probably have to come out next year because of how there's a bunch of manufacturing issues with vinyl right now, so it's probably gonna have to come out next year, but it'll probably be done this year.
Yeah, old Uncle COVID really fucked up manufacturing for a lot of industries.
Oh man, it's a disaster.
It is disaster trying to order anything. Everything's 4 to 6 months out, and it's like at some point we need to turn this around. But I guess it's just a worker shortage right now. A lot of people aren't working, and warehouses are short. And
yeah, that's what it seems to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 8 months for the Dark Time Sunshine record.
Jeez.
Yeah.
How
That's a
It's a
long,
long
time.
fucking time.
That's a long
dude.
And then that's not even a guaranteed 8 months. It might be 9.
Jeez.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they guaranteed it.
It's like 240 days.
I forgot when they guaranteed it. It definitely didn't
Long
come when they
time.
guaranteed it, and I'm not trying to put this on the manufacturer either. I realize it's like a fucking disaster.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere, but it just makes it really hard to plan shit when they're like telling you dates, and I don't know. We had this one really nice plant that we worked with. They're apologetic, but they don't. They had promised us dates that they're like months behind on those, and then now they're almost saying like a year wait for vinyl. In some places,
Damn, and you just
and
reissued.
some places are saying we just can't take on another project.
You just reissued the They Hate Francisco False vinyl. Was that a long process in the works as well, or how long did
that was
take
long
for that?
process in the works, and that one actually is going to get done earlier because of who we worked with in the process.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's a super dope album right there. What is your all-time favorite memory of just like a live performance where you've been? You've been all over the world. I know you're heading over to Europe again in the near future here, I think October. Like what is your most memorable performance doing
Oof.
Or just
music.
moment, or just moment
Or
out
just
on the
yeah,
on tour.
just your biggest moment, your most memorable moment.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, it's a lot to.
For a man who just hit the 40th milestone.
I know.
Jesus.
Putting the man on the spot.
I know.
He's got miles. He's got miles.
Well,
on
You know
him.
what? It's
even if
coming.
you have
It's
a few,
coming.
even
It's
if you have
popping
a
into
few.
my mind because it happened a couple years ago.
You can throw
but,
out a few even.
I was asked to do this. You know, I was touring the Sad Fat Luck record with a full band. You know, at our peak, at our biggest, we were 8-piece band doing this Sad Fat Luck record.
Holy shit.
Wow.
And so we were asked to go and play some big festival in Czech Republic.
Dope.
And at the end of the tour in the United States, I had to hit up my booking agent in the Czech Republic and be like, yo, it's just going to be way too expensive to try to get this entire band out there. I got to go alone. And this one festival kept my date. They were just like, we're just going to pay you less. And I was like, fuck it. Okay, I'll do it. But I get to this place and it's like an amphitheater, you know, it's like thousands of kids out there, just thousands of people out in the audience. And I'm alone with a laptop and a guitar
Jesus.
on this giant stage. I mean, the stage looked like half of a basketball
Wow.
fucking court or something. You know, it was like,
Yeah, it was a big stage.
it was big,
Yeah.
big ass stage. And it's like, what the fuck am I gonna do? I mean, I'm supposed to be here with the band. That would have made sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just proceeded to just win them over in a way where that whole place was like chanting. It felt like a soccer tournament by the end of it. And you know, a lot of people were. I just did my job. You know, it just felt crazy as fuck to go up there
For
alone, and there's literally thousands of people that mostly don't know who you are, don't speak the language,
Yeah.
and you have to go win them over. And
That's awesome.
yeah, that was an experience that
That's awesome.
I don't get nervous too easily, but that was a kind of nerve-wracking
A
experience.
different type of
And yeah, it was a great moment though, because it showed me that I could control this crowd.
Yeah, that beast of a
even if
crowd
that
too.
monster that's a crowd. That beast.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can still like picture some of these kids' faces where like something like broke through for them.
Yeah, they're probably like their
At the
minds.
end of
Their
that.
minds are probably blown. You know, they had never seen or heard something
anything
like
like that,
this.
yeah.
You know, like which is fucking
Yeah.
super dope.
They were
you know?
freaking out. It was crazy. So
awesome.
yeah, that was a good moment.
You definitely gave them.
I have so many cool moments though. Like you know,
Yeah.
I've been able. Another like crazy moment was, I think I probably, if people, one of the weirdest shows I ever did was in Laos, and I was opening for Lewis Logic and Bus Driver,
Yeah, wow, that's
and
an
we did a festival called Street Jams with a Z, and it was like 20. I'm not exaggerating. It was like 20 Laotian pop bands, like
Wow.
boy bands and girl bands and stuff. And then they're like, and now, and you can imagine it's like a bunch of teenagers like screaming, and it was like on the Mekong River,
Wow.
and it's just like a natural amphitheater up there where like these big cement stairs became the place where people would sit. But it was just like, again, a real intimidating show. And then they're like, now Chesky. And I come out and I did my thing, you know, and it was the funniest part of that was that after all these boy bands and stuff, they had paid us pretty well for that show and everything. I wasn't really getting paid, but you know, they paid the tour well.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, they were like, "We only have 30 minutes for all three." So I had to go
Squeeze it
like
in, get your
prove
shit in.
myself first out of all the Americans, and it was fucking uncomfortable.
You had to
but,
break the
you know,
ice.
I did my thing.
You could definitely rock a crowd. I will say that, man. You know how to do that. You have that magical skill.
Yeah, it's taken. Yeah, I've had to rock some pretty ridiculous crowds. I was in a metal band, hardcore band called Dead by Wednesday for a long time, and we actually had to tour with. We did 30 dates with Insane Clown Posse.
How was that?
He says woot woot.
It was
Playing in front of
insane.
a bunch of juggalos and be a different type of crowd.
Yeah, I mean,
performing.
I'll say every night about half the audience liked us, and the other half was like giving us the finger and calling us whatever they were going to call us.
Put some face paint on, you pussy. That's what they were yelling.
Yeah, we got called like everything you can imagine. So, you know, I've had tough crowds.
Yeah.
Quick.
It taught me a lot, though. It taught me a lot about how to
Quick
navigate those.
Quick question before we wrap it up with you here. When you go in the car right now and you start the fucking car, what are you putting on? What's the first song you're putting on tomorrow? Like, what is the fucking let's go? Nobody's hearing it. This is not my fucking, you know what I mean? A lot of people aren't playing this, but it should be heard because it's fucking dope. Yeah, you know what I mean? Not being too specific, but you know what I mean? What are you putting on in the morning?
What are you bumping in the car?
What are you getting in the car right now when you get back in it? What's your
I
song?
don't know, maybe it's just on my mind right now, but Chris Condi, Every Day, has like been a song I like a lot.
Chris Condi has a lot of skills.
We'll put that motherfucker on when we end this.
We're gonna play that.
We're gonna play that definitely.
Do you give us permission
I think
to play?
you'll
Can we
like
play
it.
that?
You think we'll get fucking muted for playing that?
Yeah, we
or
get
what do you
shut
think
down a
about
lot for
that?
playing people's music.
No, it's like a real chill, but like super well done.
You heard it here
song,
first,
yeah.
fucking Facebook. Your
we
boy
got
Chesky
permission.
okays it. He
Alright.
gave us
We got the permission to play it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hell yeah. Well,
We're in
Or Dark Time Sunshine Hell Nah is another one that's like one.
Oh, and
if you're
I've
talking
been
about,
bumping
like,
that for a while.
one more
That's a
thing.
good one.
If we ever play any Chesky, we got the permission to play it, correct?
Of course, yeah.
on the podcast.
On the podcast. You're the man, dude. We got it right here. You heard it first. MCMP's got the permission.
Yeah, this is good in the court of law.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
We're in that shit.
Chesky's
Fuck
the
yeah.
judge
We're
of
getting
this
sued
one.
left and right, but Chesky's on our fucking side.
It's like, yeah, you know, Michael Jackson's estate might sue me, but
Chesky's
we got
good,
Chesky.
man.
We
We're
got
good.
Chesky. We're good. Well, thank you so much for being so nice with your time and sitting down with us. I know it's late over where you're at and staying up to talk to us on a Wednesday night. And we wish you safe travels on your tour tomorrow. And we look forward to you coming back to California. I can't wait. We want to come out and check you out and see some of that new shit and watch you rock the show.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, I can't wait to get back to Cali. We'll to do it proper.